which is the newest version. So let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen. So, okay, let's start. So when you open Blender, this is what you see. So just click anywhere. I'll recommend you guys to use a mouse so that it's easier if you're using a mouse. And so we'll start. So when you first open a new file, this is what you will see. So this is going to be your workspace. It's a 3D workspace, and if you want to move around, so this on the right hand side top corner, you can see this button. I mean these XY axis planes. So if you move it around this, you can move around. So if you want a particular side view, then you'll have to click on either X, Y, Z axis. So if I click on X, I'll get the front view. So in Fusion, there was front, side, top view. Here there's X, Y, Z view, but it's the same. The only difference is in Fusion down, you used to get a timeline here where it used to show what you did. But in Blender, you won't get a timeline. So if you want to edit something or if you made any mistake and you want to change it, one option is you will have to use your Control Z option. Other option is you'll have to delete it and redo it fully because there's no timeline option in Blender. But so in Fusion, like making deforms and irregular surfaces is hard. But in Blender, you can do that. And Blender also allows you to do animation, texturing, rendering. It has many options which is not present in Fusion. And Blender is a very vast uh, software. So today we'll only go through the basics, whatever is possible. And other things I'll recommend you guys to explore by yourself. And there are many tools so whichever is needed and necessary, that will be going through today. Okay, so first of all, if you go to this is your side viewport. So here the object names are displayed. So here there's a cube and we have a light. So if you click on that, that will get selected. So this is your light, your cube, and this is your camera. So camera is basically, you can view through your camera as well. So there's a camera view. So if you see under your XY plane, here there are few options. So this is your camera view. So if I click on that, it gives me my camera view, which is this view. So if I click on it back, then it will come out of that. And this is to move the view. So if you click on that, you can basically move around. Other thing, if you guys are using your mouse, click on the scroll button and you can move around in 360 degrees. So that is one thing you can do. And this is for your zoom in, zoom out option. So you can zoom in and zoom out by clicking on that. Or you can also use your mouse scroll button to zoom in and zoom out. Other option is you click Control on your keyboard and click your scroll button. That will also help you to zoom in and zoom out. Okay. So if you guys are using any other version, I'm not sure if these options are available because I've not tried them. But in 4.1, these are the available options. Okay, then if you want to, so now this is your cube, but you want to add some other object. So on your top side, left corner, there are few options like view, select, add. So under add, you have many options. So if you want to add, so go to mesh, and again in mesh there are options. So let's say we wanted to add a cylinder, click on cylinder. So a cylinder is now, let me delete my cube. So now you can see the cylinder. Uh, so, so here under this viewport, here you'll see your cylinder object here. So let's say I don't want this size, I want to increase and decrease the size of the cylinder. So what will I can scale my cylinder. So to scale, just click on S on your keyboard and you can scale it. But let's say I want to scale it only along one direction. So what I can do is I'll click S and let's say I want to scale along my X direction. Then after clicking S, I'll click X. So it will help me to scale along X. But instead of X, I want Y, just click after S, click Y. So you can scale along Y. If you don't want to scale, just click Escape. It will come out of scaling. So that is one option. And so there are many objects you can add. You can add a cylinder, circle, sphere, torus. Um, and these are some extra add-ons which I'll be speaking later. So mainly this is what it is. So what you can do is you can on the side this option under item you'll find this transform drop down. So here also you can scale, like just increase or decrease your X scale, Y scale, Z scale, under scale, or you can change the dimensions also. And let's say I want to move this object. Now I don't want to scale it, I want to move it up, down, side, left, right. So there's a grab option. So I'll recommend you guys to remember the shortcut key because you'll be using this very often. So it's just G. So if I click on G, I can move it anywhere. But if I want it to move in a particular axis, then same as scale, I'll have to click on the particular axis. So let's say if I want to move it along Z, I'll click G, then I'll click Z. So it will move along Z. Or if I want X, then just click on X or Y, anything. So that is one thing you can do. And to come out of grab, just click on escape. So this is how you move, how you scale. Next, let's say, let me add some other object. Let's say, or wait, let me use this itself. So if I want to rotate the cylinder, I don't want it to be along I wanted to rotate it around any axis. So what I can do, click on R. So R is another keyword for rotate. So G is to move, S is to scale, and R is to rotate. So R, and I'll have to specify the axis. So if I wanted to rotate along my X axis, just click after R, click on X, and then you can just mention 90 degrees or by how much ever you want to rotate. So that you can mention using your number on your keyboard. So that, or let's say I want to rotate along Y, then just rotate it by you can just type in the degrees by which you want to rotate it, and that will be visible here along your in your top left corner under object mode. There's a rotation option. So there it shows by how many degrees it's rotating. So that is one option. So any doubts till now, you can ask me. So these are the shortcut keys which I mentioned, but if you want to if you won't remember that, on the side on your left hand side here there are options here. So if I want to move it, I'll just click on move and it will show me the direction, so I can move it along any direction. Or if I want to rotate, there's a rotate option, and scale. All the three are here. Um, so these are the basic ones. I hope you guys are following till now. Okay, then, so if you want to come out of move, just click on your select box option here. Then you will come out. And here this is your orthographic view. There are few views. So here you get your orthographic view, which is also displayed here. All right. So now let
What is
us.
orthographic view?
So basically, it's a 2D view. So if I move in my orthographic plane, I'm it's a basically 2D plane, so it will only allow me to move along a particular axis, like XY plane. So that is orthographic. We'll be using that, so you'll get a better idea later on. Okay, so that is all about your how to add an object, how to rotate, move. That is mainly needed if you are. So there are many possibilities. I mean, you can use Blender for many things for box modeling. So box modeling is used for making buildings and stuff, or you can use it for animation. So for all that, these are the basic tools which we use. So let me add a cube instead of a cylinder. So if you want to hide an object, let's say you have two objects and they're overlapping and you for now you are working on only one object. So here next to that object there's a visibility option. Just if you click on that, you can hide. The other shortcut you can use is Control H. So you can use that also. That will also hide your. So that is one option you can use. Or you can here, you can check or uncheck your visibility option. Okay, so now if I want to make any changes to my cube, then what I can do is here there are some modes. So currently it's in object mode here on the top left hand side. If you see it's in object mode, I can change it to other modes. So edit mode, there's edit mode, sculpt mode, vertex paint, weight paint, texture paint. But for now we'll go to edit mode. So in edit mode, the basic things are vertices select, edge select, and face select. So these three options are right next to edit mode. You will see these three options. So this is for edge, this is for face. So using that, I can select a particular face or a particular edge. So the shortcuts for these are also there. So if I click on one, it goes to vertex select. If I click on two, it goes to edge select, and if I click on three, it goes to face select. And so there are many options. Let's say if I want to delete a particular face, just click on the face and click X, and you can delete the face like this. If you instead of X, you can also click on delete itself on your keyboard. That will also same. It will do the same work. So and if I mean I by mistake I deleted and I didn't want to delete, just do Control Z. It will redo your whatever you did. Then let's say we want to only hide this face, then just click H. That will hide your face. And if I want to bring back the face which I hid, then do Alt H. It will reveal the hidden face. So in case you're modeling, let's say a house or something, and we want these two vertices to get, uh, okay, we'll speak about that later. Okay, so that is one option. Now, if I want to duplicate this face, I want another face, but a duplicated version of this, then I can go use Shift D. Shift D is a shortcut to duplicate. So this has duplicated my face. And if I click on escape, The duplicated face will stay right where the actual face was there. Then I can scale my face. Just click on S, scale. Now if I want to extrude this face, just click on E. You can even go to edge and extrude, or you can, go to mesh and extrude faces here, or just remember E option. So if I click on E, it will extrude something like this. So that is one option. Now if I want these two vertices to merge, let's say this vertex and this vertex. And if you want to select multiple vertices, what you can do is click on one vertex, then click shift, click the other vertex, and click shift and again select. So all the vertices whichever you selected will get selected. So let's say if I want to merge these two vertices, I can either go to mesh, go to merge, and here there are many options. Let's say for now merge at center. It merges at the center. Or you can also let's say for these two vertices, if I want to use merge, I can also remember the shortcut key is M. So if I remember M, then it goes to merge and I can again select at center. So you get something like this. That's your merge option.
I select the corners.
Sorry. If you want to select multiple vertices at the same time, just select one vertex, click shift and select the other vertex. That's how you select. And to select vertices here, as I told before, here you have right next to edit mode, there's a vertex option, or you can use the shortcut key 1 that goes to vertices select mode. And so we spoke about extrude, we spoke about merge, and in extrude itself there are many options. So let's say extrude. So if I want to extrude this face, it gives me an option if I want to extrude it along the face or the face along the normal or individual face. There are many options. So let's say extrude face along normal. So it along the normal to that plane, it gets extruded. So if you want to extrude it by a specific value, you can type in the value just like for rotating how you type in the value. So let's say extrude it by 1. It will extrude by 1 meter. If I want it to extrude by say 0.1, this is how it happens. So I can extrude this. So as I told before, for extrude the command is E. So I can do that, something like this. So now let's say I want to, let's say there was a face which wasn't there. Let's say this face was deleted and I want to fill this face. What I can do is you can go to your edge select mode, select this edge, shift and select the other edge which you want to fill, and then just click on F. So F is basically a shortcut for fill. If I click on F, then the face gets filled. This is also a very useful option which you'll use several times if you're using box modeling. Any doubts so far? Okay, if there are no
What you
doubts,
do in
then
last step?
and
Please
then
explain again.
last step what I did. So if there's a face like this which is empty and you want to fill this face, I just showed you how to fill the face. So one option is you select your 4 vertices which form the face and click on F. Or the other option is you go to your edge select to any two edges of the face which are parallel and click on it. Both will fill your face. Any doubts? So if, as I told before, you want to duplicate, you can go to mesh and duplicate, or you use shift D. If you want to extrude, click on E, or use go to mesh and extrude. If you want to merge, click on M, or mesh and merge. And if you want to separate a face into a separate body, you can go to mesh and separate, or you can click on P also. So let's say I want this face to be separated. Then I click on the face, then I go to mesh and separate selection, or I click on P, I get the same options. Then I click P selection. So this becomes a separate body. So when I go to my object mode, there are two different bodies. So one is this body and other is this face which I separated out. But if I want this face which I separated out to again, I want it to combine back with my entire other body, I can click on the face, shift and select the other body. Then if I want to join it, just use Control J. So CTRL plus J will, so if you see in my workplace here, there's only one body because it is joined back. So that is another thing which we use. So another shortcut key to toggle between your object mode and edit mode is tab. So if I'm in my object mode and I want to go to edit mode immediately, I can click on tab. And if I want to come back to object mode, again click back on tab, so it'll come back. And okay, so these are some of the basic tools which I explained. Any doubts so far, you can ask me. If there are no more doubts, then we'll continue. So here there are a set of options on your right hand side in your workspace. So here and here on the top there are few modes also. So this is your currently we are in our viewport shading mode, and we can toggle between our other modes. So the other modes, basically one is the rendered mode, which is after applying texturing you can render your object view. So that is your render mode. And other mode shows the colors which you have applied also. So if you want you can go here and select your mode, or a shortcut key is Control Z, or sorry, just Z. If I just click on Z, then you'll get your view modes. So if I go to wireframe, it basically shows me the outline of my body. And if I go to rendered, it in currently that will be black because I'm not given any lighting, and so
What is the shortcut key you told?
it's just Z. Just click on Z and you get your these. So currently we are in our solid mode. So once I give my material some, I mean, if I give my object some color, then I can go to material preview, that will show me the colors I've given. If I want to see my outline of the body, I can use wireframe. And once I render my object, I'll be using rendered mode. So for now, we'll just use solid mode. And if I want to quickly toggle between my top, front, side views, I can use the tilde symbol. So just click on that, and that will, it will show you the different views. This also shows you your camera view and selected view. So that is another shortcut. Or else you can go here and do it. Both do the same work. Okay. So let's say, let me for now hide this. So to hide, as I told before, it's just edge. Not control edge, it's only edge. And for now, let me add a cube and let me scale it along x-axis, scale it along y-axis. Let me rotate it. Okay. Um, Now let's say I want multiple cubes like this. One thing I can do is duplicate it and move it along the particular axis, but that will take a lot of time in case I want like many blocks of this. So an easy option is arraying it. So in Blender we have something called as modifiers, which basically make our work easier because there are many options. So some modifiers include, so under this viewport here, go to modifier option here. This is the modifier option. Here click, after your object is selected, you'll have to do this. So click on your object first, go to modifiers, go to add modifier, and under generate, the first option you get is array modifier. Click on array modifier. So basically now this array modifier will array along a particular axis. So if I want it to array along my x-axis, I'll have to give a factor 1. So basically this factor is for your offset of the array. So once your object is duplicated, by what value it will get offsetted, and then the next duplicated object will appear. So if now let's say I change my count to 10, this is how it will look. But if I increase my factor of x from 1 to let's say 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that, your the gap between the arrayed bodies will increase. Let's
Ma'am,
say
once
I
can you repeat this one?
okay, so now we have a cube and we want this cube to get duplicated many times. One thing I can do is shift D as I told before for duplicating, or I can use my array modifier. So array modifier, go to, for using array modifier, click on your object, go to modifier option here. This is your modifier option. Click on add modifier. Here you can search for array modifier also, or under generate, your first option, which is your array, click on that. And understood till now, or any doubts so far? Okay, so here under count, I can change my count to let's say 10. And if I want to increase the spacing between each block, I'll just increase my X factor. So you can work with this. And if I want to displace along Y also and Z, I can change these values. Or if I only want it along Y and not along X and Z, whichever axis you don't want, just put the factor as 0. So you get something like this. So this is a one modifier which is very commonly used. And so if this modifier, these options on the top basically will show, if you don't want your modifier which you use to be shown in your edit mode, just deselect this option. So if you select this option, it will be showing. If I deselect, it won't show. But in your object mode, it will show. because this option is selected. If I remove this, it won't even show in our object mode, but it would have arrayed, but it will be hiding it basically. So that is one thing. So this is a common modifier. Uh, Another modifier which is commonly used is your, say if you're making something like a staircase. So you will need a bevel modifier. So let me scale it along my x-axis.
How are you enlarging it? Can you say it once again?
Okay. So if it's like this and I want to enlarge it along any axis, one thing I can do is just click on S, as I told before, scale option, or go to your left hand side. Here you have a scale here, resize. Select this
Okay, ma'am.
body and just scale it. Something like this. Okay. And if I want to scale it along my Z, you can just scale it here. And once you're done with scaling, just click Escape. Or if you're using your scale option from the side box, you'll have to click on select box option once you're done with scaling. So to use your bevel modifier, you'll have to go to object mode, to edit mode. So you can click on tab, go to edit mode, and you'll have to go to your edge select mode. Once you're done that, click on any edge and you can use your bevel modifier. One option is go to modifiers here, click on bevel. Under generate, you get your bevel option. That is to make your surface smooth along the sides. This is
Please
your
repeat
bevel.
it.
Okay, so this is your object and you want, let's say you want your surfaces to get smooth in the edges. Select your object. Either you can do this in object mode also or in edit mode. Select your object, go to modifiers. Under add modifier, go to generate. Instead of array, this time we are using bevel. So click on bevel. You can either bevel your vertices or you can bevel your edges. By the You can increase the angle of bevel and you can increase the segments to make it smoother. So the more number of segments, the smoother it gets. Something like this. You can explore this option more, but for now we don't need it. Another bevel option is for make. So let's say we're making something like a staircase. So there we can use Control B. So click on your any one edge. Let's say for now this edge using edge select option and click on Control B. So if I use Control B and move it like this, you can see that my edge is changing. And here using your mouse scroll button, just increase it. So the number of cuts will increase as I scroll my mouse. Let's say these many cuts. Once you're done with your cuts, just click, just left click using your mouse. Then here down you'll get a small bevel drop down. Just click on that. And here under profile type, instead of using this, use custom. And under custom, there is something called as steps. So there's a default steps option itself in Blender. So custom, just instead of present, put steps, and we have our steps ready. Any doubts so far? If there are no doubts, then we'll move ahead. So this is how to make stairs using Blender. This is just small demonstration. Okay.
Ma'am, we need to press, we need to select an edge and we need to press Control B for this
Bevel.
to make it as a slant this thing.
Yeah, slant, and then increase the number of cuts using your scroll button of your mouse.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
do
ma'am.
it once. Control B, and it will be like this. Then increase the number of cuts. And if I click my left mouse here under bevel option, go to custom, go to steps. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
And that is one option. And then, so this bevel modifier is also very useful. So let's say now let me move my stairs along y-axis here. And if I want to mirror this, so as we had in Fusion also, we have a mirror modifier in Blender also. So click on your object which you want to mirror, go to modifier, go to add modifier, and under generate, there's a mirror option. Click on mirror. Here you'll have to select your axis. So currently I want to mirror along Z axis and not my X. So click your Z option and uncheck your X option. So this mirrors along Z axis. If I want to mirror along Y axis, it looks something like this. So yeah, this is your mirror modifier basically. This is also very helpful at times if you're making any symmetrical body. So you do 1/2 and you can mirror it along any axis.
Can you explain how you
So,
made the steps once more?
okay, for steps, basically, you basically have a cube like this, and you will have to select any one edge. After selecting the edge, just click on Control B. That is basically a bevel option. You will get something like this. After this, left click on your mouse. You'll get a bevel drop down like this. Just expand the drop down. Here, under segments, you can increase the number of segments. So if I'm increasing the number of segments, you'll get something like this. And under profile type, instead of using super layers, you can use custom. So Blender has a customized staircase option. So under present, just use steps. Is it steps? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's seen.
Okay. So mirror option is here also. So if you see your top hand here, this basically this uh symbol is for a mirror. You can mirror along any axis. So that is one. And so there are many other modifiers also. So if you see under generate, okay, we'll show you. I'll show my wireframe also. So let me hide this. Let me add a plane and let me rotate it along my x-axis by 90 degrees. Then go to your edit mode. Using either from here you can change to edit or click on tab. So there is something called as loop cut. So if I want to cut my plane into many pieces, I can use something called as loop cut. So this is very important actually. So loop cut is the I would recommend you guys to remember the shortcut key. So it's Control R for loop cut. So if I do Control R and go near my plane, this yellow line will be displayed. So that helps me to split my plane basically into two parts. If I want to increase the number of segments, I'll have to again use my scroll button on the mouse and increase the slowly. If I go ahead and increase, this is how it looks like. And once you are done, just left click on your mouse and you can move your loop cut in any direction. If you don't want to move, just click on escape and you're done with your loop cut basically. So you can see the different segments. This plane is again divided into many segments. And if I want to, I can add another loop cut, let's say a horizontal loop cut this time. So go near your plane, this line, yellow line, again increase the number of cuts using your scroll button. Once you're done, you move it in any direction or just click escape. So this is your loop cut. So if you want to select everything, what you can do is just draw a box around it. So everything gets selected. So basically, if you're doing any window frame or you want grills, so there's a modifier in Blender. So that is called your wireframe modifier. So you can select your plane basically which you want. So basically what a wireframe does is it removes all the plane part in these cuts and increases the thickness of the cut itself. So you will see that. So select your complete plane, go to modifier, under add modifier, search for or go to generate and your last option which says wireframe, click on that. So by default, wireframe won't be seen in your edit mode. So to enable it in your edit mode, just click on this button here. So if I click on it, this is how it looks. So I can increase my thickness here. And so this is also a very helpful modifier. So if I'm making something like grills or something, this is also helpful. So let's say if I now a mirror modifier, I want to mirror a body, but after some time, after I've completely drawn the symmetrical part, now I don't want the other parts to be mirrored. In case like that, there's an option called as apply. So once you apply the basically the uh, body will stop mirroring or the use of the modifier comes to an end there itself. So that apply option is here. So go to your object mode, select the modifier. So under add modifier, this will be visible. So there's a drop down arrow here. Click on that. Click on apply. Once you do that, it is applied and this modifier will now have no more role in your body. So that is it's an important tool. You have to remember. So once, especially while mirroring, if you're done with the symmetrical part and you don't want any other things to copy, then just apply your modifier and continue with the work. So that is another option. So like that only there are many options like but the most used ones, okay, we'll speak about subdivision surface in some time, but these are the most used ones. So array, bevel, boolean is also something I can show you guys. So let me hide this for now. So okay, let me take this cube and let's say I want a hole in the middle which passes through the entire cube. What I can do is let me scale this cylinder first. Yeah. So let's say I want a hole here. So what I can do, I can create an object which completely passes through your uh, the object in which you want to make the hole. So let's say this currently my cylinder is doing the job. So then once I have an object like that, click on the object in which you want to induce the hole. Then go to modifier, add modifier, search for Boolean. Either you can search here or go to generate and Boolean. Once you're done that, you have to make sure that here there are options: intersect, union, difference. So for now we'll use our difference option because we want a hole. Then click on this eyedropper and select your cylinder under object. So now apply this, or for now let me not apply. So then what you can do, once you have selected your object as cylinder and selected the operation as difference, you can just hide this body. So to hide, as I told before, just click on edge. So now if you see, there's a hole. So this is the use of Boolean operation. That's also very useful sometimes. So you have many other options which I'll recommend you guys to try by yourself. But the most used ones I have gone through. Okay, fine. So now what we'll do, we'll try to recreate this ring. Let me send it to you guys. We'll try to recreate this ring using Blender. So by recreating, you'll basically get an idea of how to apply color, how to render an image, how to so a basic idea on options available in Blender. Okay, so also these are a few modules which I made. So this is our Gajendra circle, which is in IIT itself. So this was made on Blender, and we have something called as OpenAF Creator on. So this is also another. So all this is possible on Blender once you guys understand the basic tools. Okay. So for now we'll make this ring. So there is there is something called as Blender add-ons, which will make, if we use that, it's easier. So basically the gem part is already an add-on in Blender. So for us to use the add-on, okay, let me, so delete, so again let's create a new file. We'll start from beginning. So then just delete all these, all the options, the cube and the light, select everything and just delete. So before we move ahead, we'll have to add the add-on. So under edit, go to preferences. And here you can search for extra. Once you search for extra, just click on the tick box right next to your, so you'll have to add your mesh. So add mesh extra object, just click on the box. And once you're done that, just you can close your preferences option. Just close it. So now we'll have to add your so this add-on is basically to add a built-in a gem part. So I forgot to mention there's a keyword. If I use Shift A, then it's basically to add. Either I can go to add here or I can use Shift A. Shift A also helps me to add. So under mesh,
Ma'am, can you show what we have to add on? Like which mesh? There's a lot of options.
so here search for extra, under search option, search for extra and add your mesh extra object. Just click on this button, this one.
Yes, ma'am.
And once you click that, don't do anything, just close the option. That's it. Now we'll have to add our gem. So Shift A, mesh, click on down under extras, you'll get many options. So under diamond, click on gem. So basically your gem is added to your blender. So now let's add another. So if we see the object which we are making, it has the small circular part, so that we can add using your UV sphere. So we'll again do Shift A, under mesh, go to UV sphere, add it. So since it's very small, you can scale it down fully. So in such places, wireframe mode is very helpful.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
So I have a doubt here. After selecting add mesh extra object, should we install it?
No need to install. Just click on the tick box. If you click, you can just close it. And under add mesh, you will get your diamond option. Under diamond, there's a gem option. Just click on that.
Okay, thank you.
So in such places, now since the sphere is not seen, when I scale it down very much, in such places, it's helpful if you use wireframe mode. So to use wireframe, as I told before, click on Z and go to wireframe. So now you can see your sphere. Now you will move the sphere to the right. So let's say G and Y. So it will move along my Y axis. And let's say till here. So let me go to my solid mode. It looks something like this. So if I click on X axis and click on my orthographic mode, this is how I get the orthographic view. So it will only move along a plane. That is the use of orthographic mode. So once that is done, like about here. Okay, now we'll add a cube. So again, Shift A, add a cube, scale it down, go to your wireframe mode, move the cube to the side, rotate it a little. Let's say about this. Also, if you want to, if you have rotated the cube by some angle and you want to move it along that local axis and not the exclusive XYZ axis, you will have to click on that axis double. So let's say this cube I want to move along this direction and not along the original Z direction. Then I'll click on G, and if I click on Z once, it will move along this direction. But if I click on Z another time, it will move along my local direction, the original Z, around like that. Okay. So come back to your solid mode. It will look something like this. Now go to your edit mode, go to face select option and delete these two faces. So once that is done, go to your wireframe mode again. Go to vertices select option and we'll move these vertices a little down. So select your vertices of the cube, the down vertices, and G. Click on G, you can move the vertices. something like that. Then I'll extrude and move it a little. So are you guys able to follow till now, or should I repeat? You can. So
How you
okay,
move the cube simply using mouse? Like,
using mouse. So you'll have to select G option on your keyboard. Then only you will be able to move. So anything G is the key shortcut to move. So select your cube, select G, select the axis and move. Now if I want only to move specific vertices, select the vertices, click on G. So see, I can move only those vertices. And let's say something.
How do we delete the faces?
So basically you will have to select your two faces. So I deleted the top and bottom face. So go to face select option, which is on your top side, or click on 3 shortcut. Select your one face, shift and select the other face. Once you've selected the two faces, just click on delete option on your keyboard or click on X. So then you'll get a bunch of options in that you can select on faces. So once this is done, we'll just extrude. So you can extrude points, you can extrude faces, you can extrude edges. All three you can extrude. So I'll just extrude it something like this. Up to here. Once this is done, you get something like this. Then tab back to your object mode. Once this is done, just now we want this on every side. If you see this ring, this is symmetrical about all the sides. So select your. So we'll first combine the sphere and the cube. So select the sphere, shift and select the cube. Then click Ctrl J. So now they both are selected. Now go to your modifiers, add modifier, go to your array modifier. This time also we'll use array. So click on array. But the problem with this array modifier is if I array, it will array along a line. But I wanted to array about this diamond gem, right? So what I'll do for that, I'll have to add an empty object. So the use of empty object is it won't be seen while rendering. It will only help for assisting in all these modifiers. So Shift A. Then here under
How
empty,
did you
sorry.
select that? How did you select that sphere and cubes everything?
So select your sphere. First, you'll have to combine it. So select your sphere, and then your sphere and your cube would have been two separate objects. So select your sphere, then click on Shift and select your cube, then click on Ctrl J. That will help to join the cube and sphere into one object. Once you do that, just select that object and go to modifiers and continue.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, I'm
Okay, now,
having a problem with that, the square that you extended from the sphere down.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, how did you extend that smoothly, ma'am?
Okay, so one second. It was something like this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So select these, go to wireframe mode and select the bottom edges, bottom vertices. Then just using G, you first bring the cube a little out of the gem, then click on E, extrude. It should it basically be along the gem. So try to not inside the gem, but along the gem. Once you extrude, you can rotate your edges a little like this. Then again click E, extrude, then R to rotate the, again E and extrude. Something like this. And in case it is moved, you can move it a little towards the gem. So something like this. Is it clear? Okay. So now we'll go to modifiers, add array modifier, but this time here we won't be using our relative offset option. Instead, we'll be using object offset option. So for that, we'll be adding a empty object. So how to add that? Shift A, under empty, select your select a cube for now. So this will look, this is empty object as I mentioned before. It won't be visible in your rendered view. Only it will help to assist on your modifiers. Then you have to go to, so in this select your object which you have applied the array modifier. Then here select your, click on your object option, offset option. In the drop down under object, take the eyedropper and put it for on the empty object. So now what happens is, here if I increase my count, okay.
Modeling করছি।
Yeah.
খারাপ টোয়ালে কেন খারাপ হতে হবে?
Okay. So any doubts till now? Or shall I move ahead?
Can you explain the array modifier once more? After you
Okay.
make the plain space.
Okay. So you'll have to combine these two objects. So let me show that from beginning. So basically you'll add a sphere, scale it down, move it like this. And then you will add a cube, scale it, and again move it, rotate it, scale it a little, like this. And then you will go to your edit mode, select on your bottom 4 faces and move it a little. Then extrude that and move it. Again extrude and move. Extrude. No. Something like this. Once this is done, tab back, join these two. Uh, so then go to your modifier. Under generate, click on array modifier. And here, so as I told before, add your empty option. So under shift, go to shift A, under empty, add your cube. Then select your object and check the relative offset. Click on the object offset. Here, select on your empty. So we'll have to okay. So now we'll, if I increase my count, basically happening something like this. But I don't want that to happen. So any doubts till now? Okay. So once again, I didn't delete the faces, I guess. So I'll just delete the faces. Select the faces. Select my faces. And do it. Select the vertices. So I'll do that in wireframe mode itself. So once this is done, move this a little into the and something up like this. So once this is done, go to your object mode. So let me so to save a file, I'll show you that. So click on Control S. So you can save it here as a blend. So just save it as gem and click on Save Blender File. So it usually saves as a blend file. So let me open. So here, if you see this, this is how I arrayed it. So basically, click on your empty. So this is your empty, right? Select your, so go to modifiers, click on your object first. Under array modifier, uh, relative offset should be 0 for all axes, and under object offset, just click on your empty option. And that is how you can array it along all the 4 directions. So now in case, let's say, I'll show it again. So you'll have something like this. And if I want to array it, just go to array. So generate array, and here go to object offset. Click under the drop down, select this and increase your count here. So you get 4 bodies. This should be 0 and this under object offset make it 4. Okay. So I hope
Can
you
you
guys
repeat
understood.
it?
So we made fill here, right? So we had a sphere, we had a cube. So we joined both of them. Then we went to modifiers under array. Instead of using your relative offset, under object offset, select, we added an empty object. So shift A empty cube, added a cube, and here we want it to be on all the 4 sides. So increase the count to 4. So you get all the 4 sides. But the only problem is this is yet to be, like, if I want to scale, if I scale one object, other objects won't get scaled. So if I want it to be uniformly scaled along all directions, then click on Control A, apply, and click on scale. So if I do that,
Ma'am,
yeah,
when I'm increasing the count number, the other
yeah,
things are zoomed in. Like it
sorry,
is not that sphere and the extended sphere, cube thing. When we are increasing the
yeah,
count in the array thing, it is not
uh,
coming properly.
okay. Why? So you just go to click on right click, set origin to geometry. I think that should be a issue, because when you, it's the origin of this should be here at the origin of the XYZ axis. So maybe that is not, just try to change your origin, convert, set the origin to the geometry to origin and try. Then look into this video later on in case you guys are not getting it. But make sure your relative offset is 0.
How do we create the empty set? Empty.
Shift A and go to empty and add a cube. So, okay, so once this is done, then go to your wireframe mode, and so you can basically you go to your edit mode, and there is something called as proportional editing. So turn that on. So click on, we only want the top part to be a little flat. So click on your top part and click on G and you can move it. So basically if I click on G and my proportional editing is on, I can move it in any direction I want, like this. So try to make the top part a little flat, something like this. So you can select it by in wireframe mode, so that will be easier. So go to your wireframe mode, select your top part and move it a little in and make it a little flat. Select. Okay. So whatever I make changes to one object will happen to the other objects also. So that is the use of your array modifier, and if you apply your scale. And so try to make the shape of the sphere a little flat and bulged inside like this. Once that is done, uh, you can also go to vertices, select the end vertices of the cube and try to make it put it in and snap it inside the sphere, something like this. It should look so the finally it should look something like this. So once that is done, you can tab back to object mode. Now we'll add a subdivision surface modifier. So basically your subdivision surface will make it a little smoother. So let's increase the number of levels to 2, something like this. So I go to my object mode. Here I can add a loop cut. So do Control R, increase the number of cuts to say 2 and scale it a little, make it a little flat and scale it. So once that is done, go back to your object mode. So it should be a little flat and a little wide, a little thick base and a little flat. So then again go back to your object mode, edit mode, add a loop cut inside here. For now, let me hide my gem. So here you can add a loop cut in the center, something like this, and do Alt S. Click on Alt S, and you can scale it in a little, make it a little inside. Once that is done, just click Enter. So okay, so this is it should look something like this. Is there any problem till now?
Ma'am, even though I set that to origin of geometry, that array thing is not working. Array modifier.
Uh, okay. Try to set origin to 3D cursor also, because the 3D cursor is also on your, this is your 3D cursor, so that is also at the origin currently, right? This cursor. You can try that if it works. But it is supposed to work ideally. Okay. Okay, so we'll continue then. So after this is done, just move the body a little up. So let's say up to here. Yeah. So just move it,
It's not
move the
working.
entire. Uh, okay. Okay, let's try. Let me open a new. So you do one thing with your, once you have put your sphere right, with your sphere
Yeah.
selected completely, do Shift A and add a cube. Is it working now?
No, ma'am.
So you are supposed to add the cube in edit mode itself. So when you're in edit mode with your UV sphere selected, you're supposed to add your cube.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me also try once. Okay, you can see the recording later because we have to finish this. So let me go ahead. So we were here. And it was something like this. So now we'll add a circle. So shift A circle and you can scale it a little. And bring it up till here and again scale it. So then so you get something like this. So for now let's move all this down somewhere here and scale it. So scale the circle till somewhere here and move it up a little and scale it. So once you add a circle like this, go to your edit mode and you turn off your proportional editing and extrude. So you are supposed to to select all the vertices of your circle, you'll have to click on Alt and select on the edge. So that will help you to select all vertices. Then extrude it. So to extrude it down, just click EZ, scale it a little. So click on S and scale it in. Move it up a little. Okay, something like this. Then you can give a loop cut here and you can scale that out a little, like this much. Here also you can scale it out a little, something like this. Then we will extrude these vertices. So click on E, extrude, and click on S also at the same time. So it will scale inside. So something like this. So once this is done, tab back. Here you can give a subdivision surface modifier. So that is basically used to make it a little smoother. So if you see now, if I increase the levels, you get a smoother view. Also, you can right click and click on shade smooth. That will give you a completely smooth sphere. I mean, smooth circle like this. So now we have made this part, we have made the top parts. Now we need to make the ring part. So for that, once this is done, now we'll move all this up to here. somewhere here. Then we'll add a ring. So click on add. Again, we'll add a circle basically and rotate it along x-axis by 90. So scale it back and rotate. So you get a ring like this. I think a ring about this size should be fine. Scale it out a little, maybe this much. So if we add a cube, we'll get a relative idea of how big the ring should be. So okay, so for now let's not think. So this size should be fine. Scale it a little, maybe here. Yeah. Now go to your edit mode. With all your vertices selected, extrude it along your x-axis by this much. Maybe this much. Yeah. Then we'll then go to your so after extruding, we'll move it up a little. So click on G and move it up a little. Maybe let's see. So we can give a solidifier modifier now. So go to modify, solidify, and you can increase the thickness something like this much. So this is how the ring will look. And now we can move it a little because the yeah. So go to object mode and apply this. So once this is done, go to your object mode and we don't need this part. So delete your vertices. So this is fine. Now we'll if you see in this figure, there's a small cylinderish shape. So what we'll do, go to object mode, or here also you can add. So shift A, add a cylinder and scale it down completely. Move it up, scale along your Z axis. Maybe up to this, and this should be fine. So once you've got a ring like something like this, click on these faces. So Alt and select the vertices, extrude and scale. So we'll just basically scale it a little. Maybe yeah, this should be fine. Oh, that is not needed. Or you can click on vertex select, click on I. So I is basically in scale. So what you can do, select your face, select I, put it a little here, and then extrude downwards, something like this. This should work. So once this is done, go back to your object mode, bring down your diamond and your cylinder and your empty everything somewhere till here. So once this is done, you can make your ring a little smoother. So what you do, go to here, go and make a subdivision. So if I increase my level here and subdivision, it makes the ring a little smoother. So that is what it is. Then we can move this these vertices little above. So what I can do is I can select these. What is this? And move it up a little in because it should be in the ring. Similarly, select this and move it a little in. Same thing you can do on the other side, or you can use a mirror modifier also. So once this is done, so our ring is ready. So we have all the parts of the ring. So you can basically extrude these parts a little, make it. So select these vertices. Because the ring is a little thicker at the edge. So select this and move it a little to the edge. You can enable proportional editing. Thicker or yeah. So once this is done, you can go back to your object mode. So now we have all this. Now we'll have to add. Now if you go to your rendered mode, it is still, it doesn't. In my case, it shows because I have added it, but it won't be showing anything. It'll show a blank surface for you. So to make a object look like this, now we'll have to add color. So what we can do is, first for that we'll need a background. So we'll add a plane. So Shift A, mesh plane, move the plane down a little, about here. Then go to your edit mode, go to edge select mode and extrude this top part a little. So E and Z from what up to this level. Then you can click on this and you can bevel it. So hit Control B, increase the bevels, something like this. So it should look something like this. Now we'll be giving color, and for that we'll have to add a camera. So what you can do, go to add and camera, select camera. So you'll get your camera. Then you will have to adjust your camera in the direction needed. So now let's say I want my camera along this direction. So something like this. So that when I go to my camera view, it is able to see my, I can move my camera also a little. So something like this. Once you get your camera like this setup, you can, so to toggle out of camera view, just click on it once more. So that's how you, now your camera is selected. And now we'll be adding an additional light because our, when we render it, we need extra light. So in camera also, once you added your camera, just render from it will usually be, render engine will be in EEVEE, make it to cycles and make your maximum sample around 120 and click on denoise. Once that is done, in your output settings, make your resolution to around 1080, and that is mostly about what you do in camera. And make a so focal length will depend on your choice. So if I decrease my focal length or increase my focal length, it basically shows the area covered by the camera. So let's keep the focal length up to this. I think this is fine. Then here under, so now we are going to the render view. So before we go to that, so here under world, there's an option of color. Here you just select sky texture. So here is an option called as sky texture here. Select that. So in the rendering, it will be easier. And now we'll be giving, so if I go to my normal view and go to camera, looks like this. Now with my render view selected, I'll go to my shading option. Go to shading. General. So shading. In shading, you can. So if you're using cycles, you will have to use your GPU compute option here under your render option. So here now we'll be giving color to your. So let me just delete this. So you can here you can add. So you will here let's add a glassy texture for your gem. So gem should look a little glassy. So add it, and so from BSDF, just connect it to your surface from the glassy texture. So once you add, and here you can change your color. So let's make it a little bluish. So it will take some time for rendering. It depends from computer to computer. So once that is done, here we'll give this a golden color. Select this and go to shading.
Yeah, what is the basic meaning of rendering?
Rendering is basically giving color and text. I mean, making a thing look realistic, right? So say in this we can figure out that this is a ring, but in this view we can't figure out whether, I mean, the color, the actual look for any object comes only when you give color and texture to it.
Yes.
So rendering basically means you're making a thing look more realistic by giving texture and color. Okay. So we'll go to our shading viewport, and just for now, so here you can just change the color. Here there's a material option down. So give it a little golden look. Okay. Once that is done, go back to your layout and go back to your normal view, solid view, and then click on this, this and this and this, and then just click link. So to click on, to select link, just click Control L. So we'll be linking our material, because if you see in our ring, we have the same color for the cylinder and the ring and this part. So we'll just click link material. So once that is done, if you go to your render view, it will take some time for rendering, but you get some, once this is clear, you get a clear image of the ring. So you can also add some extra light for better clarity. So to do that, just go to your solid workspace, then click on Shift A. Here you can add light. So let's add an area light. So once you add that, just move it up a little, up to here, around here. Then here you increase the power to, let's say, 90 watt. And you can increase your size depending on how you can basically manipulate according to your needs. Maybe the angle of spread, all that. So once that is done, we are just go to render option here and click on render image. So this will take some time because so we gave our samples as 120. So it will take some time. It depends from computer to computer how much time it takes to render.
How do we mark the attendance?
A form will be shared for that in the end of the session.
Can we see your other models?
So you can give more texture and color. Since we are running out of time, I didn't do that. You can make the gem look more realistic by giving a darker color and maybe the ring also a little darker. So yeah. So what we can do is you can, if you don't want a background to be very reflective, just click on this under material option here, click on U and give it a little darker and glossy material, like around this. Make the roughness a little less so that it is a more reflective. You can see that something like this. So if you see in this, so if you go to Z and go to material preview, this is how it looks. This also you can make it a little metallic, like more metallic and less roughness should be low. This can also be made more metallic. Increase the metallicity and make the roughness a little less. So if you render it now, so once you render, you get a clear image. So you'll end up getting something like this, depending on your color and other things. So that is what we learned in today's session. So if you guys had any doubts, you can, anyway, the meeting is recorded, so you can revisit the recording once. And your assignment is to recreate this itself. So to recreate the ring, and we'll be sending a GForm, so you can just export the blend file and submit it in the GForm. So I hope you guys understood some basics of Blender and how to use it. Blender is a very vast tool, and it's hard to complete every property of Blender in within one session. So only the basics were covered in today's session. Whatever I would recommend you guys to explore more of Blender. So you can just there are many YouTube videos and links. So since now you have a basic idea of Blender, you can explore more. I hope you guys enjoyed today's session, and yeah, this is only your assignment. So recreate the picture which I sent. Any doubts?
Can you share some YouTube videos related basic of this Blender software?
I'll share. There is a video which I mean they have recreated the same ring. So I'll share the video. You can see that video also.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
If we get any doubts when we are doing the assignment, how are we supposed to contact you or ask our doubts?
Yeah, you can ask. You can ask it on Teams itself.
Okay. And the Google form is asking for permission. It's not letting us reply to it.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Check now, I've changed the settings.
Deadline